In today's video, we're going to learn how to divide decimals. So, using the algorithm, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with a whole number, and let's start with 3, and we want to see how many times that will go into 1 and 8/10. Okay, so what you do here is the first step is that you put the decimal of your question, this 1 and 8/10 right here, and place that decimal in your answer. Now, at this point, if you have your question set up like your math problem set up like this, it's as if the decimal in the question magically disappears. It's now in your answer. Now all you have to do is simply handle this question just as you would any other. Now, and it's done something like this. So what we're doing is we're looking to see how many times times can 3 go into 1, or 3 times what equals 1? Well, none. So we're going to put a 0 here above this 1 as a placeholder. Now we know we've addressed that number. Now we look at it. How many times, or what 3 times what number will equal 18? 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 6 is 18. I subtract. I have nothing left. And that is how you solve dividing with decimals with a whole number. All right, now let's go ahead and do another problem. We're going to start again with a whole number. We're going to see how many times a whole number will go into a particular number. So let's say we're going to have see how many times that 2 will go into, let's say 3 and 1/10. All right, 3 and 1/10. 2. How many 2's are in 3 and 1/10? So I'm going to change here. So put my decimal up here in my answer at first. Okay. So 2 can go into 3. 2 times 1, because 2 can go into 3. All right. 2 times 1 is 2. Put my 2 down here. I subtract. 3 take away 2 is 1. I bring down the next number I have here, which is a 1. Okay, now 2 times what gets me 11? Well, nothing, but I can get 2 times 5 equals 10. All right, I subtract. I have 11, take away 10, I'm left with 1. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I can't have a remainder in a decimal problem like this. We just don't have remainders for that. But this is what we're going to do instead. Instead of having remainders, bye-bye remainders, no more remainders in dividing with decimals. What we can do is, watch this, we're going to add a 0 at the end or after the 1. Isn't 3 and 10/100 the same as 3 and 1/10? Well, yes it is, as a matter of fact. I didn't change the value of my number whatsoever. I just added a 0. It has no value. It's after the decimal. I'm not adding any value to my number. I'm just making it look just ever so slightly different. By following that rule, I now can bring down this 0 next to my 1, making it a 10. And I start the process over. 2 times what can get me 10? Well, I know 2 times 5 can get me 10. 2 times 5 equals 10, and I'm left with 0. Look, no remainder. There's no remainder, but yet I actually have a real number here. So I know that 2 can go into 3 and 1/10, 1 and 55/100 times. Pretty cool. Okay, I've got another little different kind of problem. Pay attention to this one very carefully, okay? This is going to be like the one we just did, very similar to that. So let's go ahead, again, we're going to divide a whole number into a decimal. So this time, let's just make it 2 and 2/10. That sounds good. All right, so the first rule is we go ahead and put our decimal up in our answer. Okay, check out of the way. Now we're trying to discover how many times can 3 go into 2. So 3 times what equals 2? Nothing. So I'm going to write a 0 here. And now, because I've already taken care of my decimal, I can say 3 goes into 22 how many times? 3 times what equals something close to 22? And I know that 3 times 7 equals 21. Okay, so I subtract 22, take away 21, I'm left with 1. All right, great. So now I do what I did last time. I go ahead and just add a 0. Bring down my 0. Now, I'm in business again. Here we go. 3 times what equals 10? Well, I know that 3 times 3 equals 10. So let's go ahead, or equals 9. So here we go. Write my 9. 10 take away 9 equals 1. All right, fantastic. That's great. All right. So what do? Well, I'll just go ahead and add another 0 and bring it down. Wow, I'm back in business again. So I've got 3 times what equals 10? Oh, it's 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Uh-oh. Do you see what's happening here? Look. Look back at what we just did. We keep getting the same thing happening over and over again. When that should happen to you, this is called a repeater. And a repeater, how you handle it is what I want you to know. Before you know it's a repeater, you have to go out at least these 2 numbers like I've done. Okay, you won't know until you have 2 numbers that start showing up like one another. Chances are, especially if you have the same leftover number each time, that will always be a repeater. So what you do in that case here, although I just circled over the 33, is what you do is you just put a line over the number that repeats. So actually I can just put a line like this over that first 3. I could put it over the 233. That means that 33 repeats itself. But over the first 3, lets us know that you realize that number will repeat and you'll quite honestly never get to a solution. Kind of frustrating, kind of cool, well, as long as you like math. Okay, the last thing that I want you to do is go back and I want you to rewatch the video. And this time, I want you to take notes and write down everything that I've done, except necessarily this particular screen, and you may have to watch it once or twice before you realize what's going on here. This will help. Every time you have a need with whole numbers and decimals, come back and watch this video.